So now we've got this far through the build, we're going to take the frame out of the picture for a moment. We're going to work on the FPV. We're going to need to take our VTX, camera mount, and our top plate. What we're going to do first, turn the camera mount around, take a cable tie, and we're just going to thread that through the hole. Flip it off. Then we're going to take some double-sided sticky tape onto our VTX. On this side, 2 bits of double-sided sticky tape. Make sure it's straight. Push that down. There you go. So that's done. Then we put the camera on. Make sure it's on the right way up. Screw this in. There you go. Right, set this aside. Now we need to figure out the wires. So now we're going to do the signaling wires. So you take your wire that you get with the VTX, plug it in the top. And then the wires that we're going to need for this, power wires like that. And then the yellow wire here. So we're going to take off these 2 wires in the middle. We just get a close up here. Snip off those 2 wires. And then we're just going to chop off the wire, the yellow wire, down at the other end. So we can take that, we don't need that. And then we take the cable that comes with the camera, so it's got 4 pins in it, stick it into the top. So we're not going to be using the white wire, so again we're just going to snip that off down here. And then we're going to be connecting the yellow wire with the yellow wire, so they connect together like that. And then we need to make sure that these 2 go down to the same. So give this a little bit of slack, and then you can chop those. You can chop those about there. So you see a bit of slack on either side, and then those can connect up together. And what we're going to do is connect these 2 wires together here, and then this is going to power it from the flight controller. Right, now we solder. For ease of use, we've taken all of the wires out, and we're going to be soldering them together like this. So before you connect it, make sure that you get a small bit of heat shrink down the wire, and that's going to cover up the solder joint. Pre-tin them, and then that's all it takes. Slide it over the top. Just quick little heat. Either use the solder wire or a lighter works as well. So once you've done the video wire, we're going to move on to the power wires. So we're going to take off the ends like we've done before. And the same as the signal wire, we're just going to do pre-tin all of the wires first and then connect them together. It's worth noting that the big power wire, you want to strip a longer amount of wire off of the top. Ooh, just going to focus in, so that you can twist them around together. So using a longer wire, wrap it around the other wires. making it easier to solder them together. There you go. So once you've got all three wires connected, you just slide the heat shrink down. You can slide it over the joint, and then you're going to heat that up and seal it. So now that we've got all of our FPV wiring done, what we're going to do is we're going to connect that to the PDB. So these wires are now going to go and connect to these 12 volt, which is just here, those two dots there. And you can see if you turn it around, you've got the negative here and then the positive there. So we're going to chop these down and we're going to go and solder them together. So just to be safe, we're going to use the whole length. So I'm just going to snip it on here. And then again, tin those connected to the 12 volt. Thank you very much. Oh, it's recording. With a 2 small pin wire, cut to length and then solder it onto the PDB. Now we're going to be attaching the ESCs to the flight controller. So the motors, they go 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then on the flight controller you can see they're numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you want to take the black wire to the minus ports and then the white wire to the signal ports, the S ports. So that's what we're going to be doing now.
You've got to stop buying this Chinese crap. Buy something from at least where one other English-speaking person has looked at it. How about that? That would be amazing. Huh?
And that's the 4 ESCs done. All of them from 1 to 4. Now put in the buzzer, receiver, we're almost done. So we're now going to go and attach a power cable from the PDB to the flight controller. What we need to do is take one of the pins that we got from the flight controller and we are just going to use the red wire from there. So just snip it off and we are going to cut the ends off, tin it and then power the flight controller. The power is going to go onto that 5 volt, the one that we've already pre-tinned here, from there, and we're going to put it into the flight controller. So now that we've pre-tinned the wire, just heat up the pre-tin on the volt, and that's it, done. Now to connect the other sides, so the other length of it goes into the middle of any of those ports there. So we're going to put it in the middle of number 8. Just put a little bit of solder in there. So that is the power to the flight controller. Now we're going to put on a buzzer. So we've taken our buzzer and we've taken off the ends and pre-tinned them. Now what we're going to do, we're going to connect them to these two here, positive and negative. So we're going to put a little dot of solder wire on those first and then just push them through. So pressing on the solder with the iron, push it through. And there you go, simple as that. So to keep the buzzer out of the way and make room for the receiver, we're going to tuck it underneath the flight controller and put it towards the back of the frame. There you go, just like that. So we're now going to be installing the receiver. So take the receiver out and we are going to just wrap a little bit of electrical tape around so that it doesn't touch any other electrical points, because we don't want it to short out. There's just a little bit of electrical tape around there, and that's going to fit into the frame. So that protects the solder joints from the receiver. So we're going to take out the receiver and we're going to get one of the wires from the receiver. This is one of the 3-pin plugs, and that just plugs into where it says ppm on the next. There we go. So that one goes into there. So there's going to be the 3 wires that we're going to plug into receiver. And then we're going to take a wire that comes with the flight controller, which is this one. The only 3 wires that we need are connected to that black port there. And we're going to snip off all of the rest of them. There you go. I think that's an 8-pin plug altogether. Right, and so that then plugs into the bottom of the flight controller underneath. Slots in like that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to connect the black wire with the black wire from the receiver, the red wire with the red wire from the receiver, and then the yellow wire from the receiver to the white wire of the flight control board. So there you go. All 3 wires are all individually connected and then wrapped up and then plugged into the receiver. And then we're going to put the receiver into the frame. Nice little fit. And then we're going to take one of the antennas down one side and then the other antenna down the other side. And just tuck it down the corners. There we go, there's a receiver. Right, so that is all the soldering done, and now the only thing we need to do is tie down the flight controller. So we take our 4 little nylon nuts and just hand tighten them down to the board. And that's it, that's everything done. No more soldering, now we program.